So today right now we're gonna be watching Cartoonshi. Uh, he's an awesome creator that you should totally subscribe to and watch his videos. And don't just use me. Come on, he deserves the views and subscriptions. Anyway, today he's gonna be talking about the news that broke the other day from the creators for the Smiling Friends that the third season will be their last. And I'm very, very sad to hear, a lot of people were, but I personally find something very powerful about being able to leave or end things on your own terms as a creator, as an artist, because it's so easy to say, well, this is making money, or this is the only thing I've done that has been reached this level of success, so let's just keep rolling with it. Or realistically, I understand that. But again, they listened to the creative hearts and they said, it's time. And yeah, you know what? Let's hear what Cartoonshi has to say about it. This is oh my god, what did he call it? The end of Smiling Friends. Of course, it was that kind of title. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, let's see what he's got to say. All right, let's do this.
Dude, check the news. It doesn't matter what channel. Michael and I are here to announce that Smiling Friends will be ending after season 3 is done.
Oh, that's some real shit.
Not used to recording on a Thursday. I've been sucking too much dick. So yeah, Smiling
Oh, damn.
Friends just self-destructed on a random Wednesday evening. We actually had it so good this week. There was a new Evangelion announced, the Backrooms movie looks cool, Resident Evil 9 is apparently good. Then I woke
Yeah.
up this morning to find out my wife has been shot. I've also just realized there's a very real possibility this video is going to age like milk if this all turns out to be an elaborate bit, but I need my
I swear to God, if it's a bit, I will be so pissed because I've made peace with it ending. I've mentally made peace with it.
bag for this week. So Smiling Friends is over. Kind of. The title of this video is not clickbait, but there are a few things about this whole debacle I find interesting to mention, because right now everyone is too busy falling to their knees at Walmart, and I feel like a lot of stuff about this announcement is just not being properly acknowledged. Just a few hours ago, as of writing this script, Adult Swim put out an important announcement from Michael Cusack and Zach Hadel, the creators of Smiling Friends and the voices of Pim and Charlie respectively. In said announcement, it was revealed that Smiling Friends will now officially be ending after the third season has been completed.
Michael and I are here to announce that Smiling Friends will be ending after season 3 is done.
Yes.
Now, this came as a shock to basically everyone, because for
That fucking that fucking art for confirmed season 4 and 5. Smiling Friends was renewed for season 4 and 5. Michael Cusack and I decided early on we didn't want the show to overstay its welcome or get stale, and we intend to stick by it. I don't know how long we'll go on for, but I'm really proud of what we created. Okay.
For a good while now, we've known that Smiling Friends was actually renewed for a 4th and 5th season, and it wasn't too long ago that Michael and Zach were talking about the 4th and 5th seasons like they were absolutely going to happen. It's pretty much unheard of for a show to be renewed for 2 more seasons only to be canned soon after, not by the network itself, but by the creators. Michael and Zach weren't told to
Yeah.
pack up and leave by Adult Swim. The decision to end Smiling Friends at its 3rd season was completely up to the creators. On the one hand, I do ultimately respect this decision from a creative standpoint, given they had full control over the show's fate, and Adult Swim were very understanding and didn't hound them to reconsider as far as we know. But also, why end the show here? What's the reason? It's not like Smiling Friends has gone on for very long. The show only has 3 seasons and just under 30 episodes. It's a very short show that you can finish in an afternoon. Well, the reasoning is pretty simple.
After we finished season 3, Zach and I just both had the same feeling where we felt pretty burnt out after putting years and years into this, but also pretty accomplished. Like we just came to this feeling where we're like, I think that could just be it after season 3, and yeah, we both felt like it was right.
I mean, even from the very, very beginning of the show, we always said, oh man, how great would it be to really try to make the show as good as it could be and really put 100%, 110% into it, and then go out what feels like on top, what feels like leave them wanting more rather than people going, oh, that show is still in the air, oh god.
Burnout is something that affects all creatives, it's unavoidable. And it's not
Yeah.
like there weren't any signs that Michael and Zach were getting burnt out. That interview I pointed to a second ago about them
Let's see. Now airing its third season, fan favorite animated show, Smiling Friends, is set to continue for at least two more seasons, but that doesn't mean it will last as long as other beloved shows like Sims and South Park. In a recent interview, the series creators said they don't want the show to overstay its welcome. It's renewed for 4 and 5 now, and we'll see how we feel at the end of that. The Adult Swim show told the IndieWire during the conversation. It could be a natural wrap up then. Zach and I change our minds every day on this. We don't want, oh, excuse me, we don't want it to be a show that overstays its welcome and goes on forever. But we're also very lucky that to get this show up. Wait, but we're also very lucky to get this show up. So there's a nice little middle ground. Zach and I have made a promise to each other that we'll always be honest. Say, look, do we want to keep going with this, or do we want to wrap it up on a high note? So we'll do seasons 4 and 5, and we'll see how we feel.
acknowledging the
Okay.
fourth and fifth seasons was overall about them not wanting the show to overstay its welcome and develop seasonal rot. It's very easy for shows to go on too long and eventually lose the sharpness of their writing and basically become slop. The
Yeah.
Simpsons being the most pointed to example of this, and I think it's totally understandable.
I'm gonna be honest. As much as I agree with The Simpsons, like completely, um, South Park a little less so, but I do see it kind of happening a little bit. The one that I do think overstay its welcome for me personally is Rick and Morty. I I think that show's done, bro. Like I haven't really. It's not that it's god awful. I'll put it like this. I There's nothing about it anymore that makes me say, "Oh, a new season dropped. Oh, there's a new episode." It's it just hasn't clicked like that for me in a very long time, and the more time goes on, the more I'm just like, "Oh, it's still going. Cool. All right, sure, I'll catch an episode." Kind of. It exists on that territory for me. And if I were to see Smiley Friends, a show that I actually did like significantly more than Rick and Morty, yeah, that would kind of hurt my heart. That hurt me in the heart.
Understandable to not want the show to stay on the air too long and eventually go bad, especially if they're already getting burnt out by the third season. Regardless of how short a time the show has been airing for, burnout is burnout. You can't really argue against that. If Zach and Michael don't want to make any more Smiling Friends, then that's their decision. I do want to know, however, how recent of a decision this was. As mentioned, they seemed pretty on board with a fourth and fifth season only a few months back, even if they were talking about how they didn't want the show to go on for very long. This couldn't have been a decision that was made a while back, this had to have been made relatively recently, right? Which leads me to the biggest point of contention with all of this. What happens to the Smiling Friends crew? Most notably, the composer of Smiling Friends, Brendan Caulfield, made a post on social media letting people know that he's now looking for work, and I assume the same thing is true for most of the other people working on Smiling Friends. There is this other post going around from someone claiming to be
Wait, this post is bullshit. Wait, person who worked with Sega Pepples and Kizaki and Michael fails to inform his team that the show is ending prematurely and has ruined my life plans as a result. I moved out to LA with expectations I would have consistent work. He was right. I'm doing some voice on Smiley Face. Thank you for the opportunity. Stay tuned. Hmm.
a Smiling Friends crew member and also claiming they just weren't notified the show was ending, but pretty much all the evidence points to this being
Brendan, the crew was notified directly from Zach before it was made public. Like,
engagement
oh,
bait, and I'm
okay.
only mentioning
We knew, guys. Chill.
it because a lot of people are spreading this around thinking it's true. We don't know when the people working on Smiling Friends were told the show was going to be ending, though Brendan Caulfield did confirm Michael and Zach told the crew before the news went public. But for all we know, it could have been as late as a day before the announcement went up. Either way, I do think there
Yeah.
is a discussion to be had here about the state of the animation industry, because I don't know if you guys have paid attention in recent years, but shit
It's
is
not a
kinda
good
dire
spot.
over there, and having Adult Swim's most successful show
Yeah, if you haven't paid attention, the animation isn't in a good spot with all these acquisitions and studio shutdowns. the first to go has been animation, even though a lot of anime shows are what kind of kept these studios afloat during the pandemic. They're not very grateful to any of these teams, which is very funny to me. I think now's the time to support your indies. I'll say that. That is my that's my opinion, man. Support your indie artists, your indie animations. Yeah, just support whatever you like, man. Just go support it for real. Watch the shows, tweet about it, buy merch if you can. If they got DVDs or Blu-rays, like start snatching those up too before someone decides to like shut it all down and make sure you never have access to them again. Do what you can with that kind of shit. Anyway, back to Cartoonshi.
Since Rick and Morty evaporate into nothingness after the promise of having 2 more seasons to work on, leaving a whole lot of people in the industry without any work can be seen as a bit of a short-sighted and selfish decision, but again, that's a debate to be had amongst others. I won't make that the point of this video, nor am I calling Michael and Zach irredeemable monsters for having the goal to take their health and passion for the series into consideration, but there's a lot of moving parts to Smiling Friends. It's a team effort, it's not just Michael and Zach. There are now a lot of people currently out of a job, assuming this whole thing isn't just an elaborate April Fool's joke. And look, with all of the evidence, it's
Like I said, it seems it is an out of season April Fool's joke. People would fucking be so pissed with the two.
very much likely it isn't. But because this is Michael and Zach we're talking about here, it's worth acknowledging the possibility all of this is just some elaborate bit. Adult Swim is known for their April Fool's pranks. The final 2 episodes of season 3 are said to be aired in April, and given, well, it's not out of the question that all of these announcements and social media posts are being made just to punk people, and that seasons 4 and 5 are totally happening soon, guys. My schizophrenia doesn't affect me as a person. I find this all very unlikely, but it could happen. It could happen as early as tomorrow, actually. They just make another post at midnight saying it was all a dream. I don't know, man. This all being said, it's not like it's
It
all
was
doom and
all a
gloom. It's been
dream.
speculated for a while that there were 2 more episodes of season 3 that had yet to air. I think this got leaked a couple of months back, but I can't find the source, and this has in fact been confirmed.
Well, there is some good news. There's
There is. Oh,
a little bit of good news. I know that's very disappointing, but there's also going to be 2 extra episodes of Smiling Friends coming out that we've completed, coming out on April 12th at 11 p.m. on Adult Swim. So these are just 2 episodes we were working on last year, and they're not finales.
And they're part of season 3. So these are 2 episodes. So season 3 has 10 episodes total, which is the 8 you guys have already all seen, plus these 2 ones. Hopefully you enjoy 2 other little stragglers. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. I hope you do. Heavens, I hope you do. I hope,
I think they will.
Season 3 is not done, with 2 more episodes finally airing on April 12th. While they won't be big finales or anything, they're apparently just going to be typical Smiling Friends episodes. That's still something to look forward to. I really like Smiling Friends. It's quickly become one of my new favorite shows, and I'm happy if these 2 last episodes are at least good. They don't need to blow my mind or anything, just make them good. I'm mentioning this now because a lot of people are kinda ignoring this fact and focusing on the earth-shattering revelation that the show is ending, which is fair, but I still think it's important to look on the bright side of things. That's what Pim would do. I'm taking this all very well if you couldn't figure that out. One detail that I think has definitely gotten lost in the weeds and the chaos and the screaming and crying is that while Smiling Friends is over for now, it's kinda not.
That's the other thing. We could come back in the future and make more episodes if we want. If we feel like it, and they've been super cool.
He did say that.
Said they would let us do that. But maybe not. Like, who knows? We'll have to determine that in the future.
If we really feel inspired, and if we really feel like we've got great ideas, and we're hungry to do it again, absolutely we'll come back maybe for a special or some more episodes. But it's got to be right, and it's got to be done right, and we have to know that we're going to make something that's great for you guys that you guys can enjoy.
Yeah.
And that we enjoy.
Smiling Friends is in a very unique position where the creators have complete creative control over whether or not they want to bring the show back. And while they're currently tired and don't want to work on it, they're still leaving the door open if they ever feel inspired to continue the series with a fresh batch of ideas. This isn't the same as the show taking.
See, if I were those 2, like, I don't know, like, because what the fuck do I know about how any of these contracts work? But since fans were expecting the seasons 4 and 5, and you're kind of pulling the rug on that idea of, like, truth be told, they could have just gone off like on a 1 hour special or something. That I, I think that would have been a better way to go about it. Been like, okay, you know what, we got like do an hour special, one last hurrah, a last paycheck for these people, and I think that would have taken a lot of the sting out of the announcement. Or just to kind of again, who knows how these contracts worked? Who knows what this what all the what was happening behind the curtains, but I don't know. I guess I just want more smiling friends and who again, like if you're watching this video with me, who you're on the same boat as me, like be like, yeah, like, I would have liked we're basically yeah, it's like a smiling friends movie kind of thing. Who knows how much that would have cost, but here we are.
taking a break or going on a super long hiatus because the show itself is ending, but the door has been left open if Michael and Zach ever feel like returning, and Adult Swim is very supportive of their decision. This is definitely something I feel a lot of people should be paying attention to. I'm pretty confident we will see
Yeah.
Smiling Friends again later down the line, whether that's in a couple of years from now or even a decade. I don't work on the show obviously, but the world of Smiling Friends has an endless amount of possibilities for creative and off-the-wall storytelling. I don't doubt that Michael and Zach will return one day to continue where they left off. It's not all doom and gloom. I think that was everything I wanted to cover with the announcement of the series concluding, but I think for the sake of tying into my previous Smiling Friends videos, I should talk about some recent developments that have happened within the past few hours. For one thing, the
Oh,
cool autistic gamer 774 is going through it.
How are you doing? Oh my
wait,
god.
hold up. What the fuck was
Autistic
that?
gamer 774 is going
Oh, okay.
through it.
How are you doing? Oh my god. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Everything is falling apart. Honestly, in retrospect, the final Cool Autistic Gamer video where he's walking through the Smiling Friends office and kinda saying goodbye is very bittersweet. If the guy really does have behind the scenes info on the show, then maybe this is when everyone in the crew got told the show was ending? Maybe this was the true send-off for the series. No idea, but it's fun to speculate. Similarly, Dolly Dimpley from Criticlips 2002 has gone dark, which is very in character, but given how the last video went, I feel like shit. And the Cool Autistic Gamer 774 archive channel dropped a video and tweet revealing that it was run by the torturing vibing leaf of Jack Walton account on Twitter, which to be completely honest, I did not see coming, but makes a lot of sense
Okay, I don't know what the fuck any of this
in
shit is.
retrospect.
I'm gonna
Also,
be
sorry for
honest.
not including you in the last self-insert video, I didn't mean any offense by that, I'm just
Yeah, okay, so a little background because he had some past videos about it. You kind of saw right there. I haven't watched any of those videos about the OCs and self inserts regards to Smiling Friends. Uh, it seems interesting, but it also just seems like a lot. And also just how do I word this? Well, I don't think he would go this direction as far as Cartoonshi is concerned. It seems like if putting a spotlight for people to point and laugh at, what might be kids or people that are very on the spectrum or neurodivergent or oh my God, neurodivergent. Okay, I couldn't say that right now. It it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and like I said, I don't think those videos would be that, but I'm afraid of it going into it, like it coming across as that. I'll phrase it like that, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna watch on the channel, but those are just my thoughts. Like, so I don't know exactly what's going on with this part of the fan base. In fact, I don't know what's going on with many fan bases. Okay, so since since I'm on this topic, while I am a fan of a lot of stuff, like I'm a fan of Amazing Digital Circus, I like this. I like I like Vivzy Pop stuff for the most part, like Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel. Like Amori, different like different games, shows, movies, and the like and all that stuff. I don't interact with fan bases all that much just because it kind of comes down to a lot of the same issues when it comes to online culture, which is people taking things too far one way or the other, where as far as your antis, where like, oh, if you like a show or if you have like some merch on it, they'll like leave the fuck out of you online for having it or just for saying, oh, I like this aspect of it. But then you have the hyper fans where they'll love something so much that if you have any type of criticism, they'll fucking dox you to hell, kind of thing. And everything in between, from people harassing creators to making them not kind of regret making the show, or just having odd feelings, or just forcing their ideas or their what they view the I guess I'm saying shows because I'm talking about we were just watching Smiling Friends, but like let it be like a game or a movie or even music, what the thing is and forcing what it means to them or their ideas of it onto everyone else in a way that's very unhealthy. And I have a hard time connecting with fan bases just on that level, where I'll become aware of it when people start complaining about it, like, just in, like in a general sense, where I'll just see like, oh, that's a weird Twitter post. Ugh, cringe. Well, anyway, just keep scrolling. Like that's just how that goes on my end. But yeah, okay, I don't know how to loop this background back to Cartoonshi and the end of Smiling Friends, but yeah, but again, that's just my thing with fandoms.
bum. Yeah, I think that's basically everything
Uh,
on the video. I didn't mean any offense by that. I'm just a bum. Yeah, I think that's
okay.
basically everything I wanted to talk about in this video. This is definitely on the shorter side compared to most of my videos, but I had to get something about this out quickly, given just how much I've been talking about Smiling Friends on this channel recently. All in all, it's definitely disappointing that Smiling Friends is ending and Michael and Zach are throwing in the towel so soon, but ultimately, it's their decision, their health, all that jazz. And I greatly respect that they ended the show on their own terms and are still open to continuing it in the future. And I think we will see Smiling Friends again someday. But if we don't, it still had a very, very solid run and is one of the most standout cartoons in the past few years. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Go play Deadlock.
Oh, is Deadlock out for everyone to play? I thought it was still on, like, for closed servers or something, like where you have to be invited to play it. Oh, okay, I'll check it out.
And you're choking up because you could never shoot well. You're spitting, coughing up a lung 'cause you're smoking cigarettes.
Anything else? No. Okay, so that was Cartoonshi, the end of Smiling Friends. Uh, in case you haven't guessed, or in case you're not aware, this is gonna go up on YouTube. So, like, I feel the need to verbalize this. Support the man. He has bills to pay, just as anyone else here is trying to do their thing. Anyway,